completely even keel. You know, like he just goes out and again, he doesn't have high motor, but he's got steady motor, right? He just plays.
Okay.
Listen, for long stretches of the Atlanta series, he took poor little Trey right out of the action, right? He just envelops you with his length and his smarts and his athletic ability. He's subtle athlete. He's like a smooth athlete where it's not spectacular athleticism, but he is gifted at 6'10".
Okay. So
here's the other issue. Just a year ago, they gave him a max contract. It has 4 more years to go on it. Okay? So they committed to you, and I know it's become the new way of the world. James Harden or Anthony just says, I want out. And the team just crumbles and bends over and just says, okay, what you got me. You know, I'm done. I'm down on my knees for you. What do you want? Where do you want to go? Oh, you want to go to L.A.? Okay, we'll make it happen. I know they had to go through 2 rounds of that, but they made it happen. James, where do you want to go? How about Brooklyn? Oh, okay, we'll make that happen. I just got the feeling that the Sixers might be the first team to say, you know what? We gave him the money. He made the $33 million last year, and we're going to keep paying him if he comes to camp. And if he doesn't, you know what's going to happen? At some point, the NBA will step in and suspend him. But at some point, they don't have to pay him. He does have one of those weird payout systems where they're like quarterly kind of payments. So it's like $8.3 million is not owed until October 1st. But could they withhold their $8.3 on October 1st if he's not playing? Yes, they could.
But he's saying, guess what, Skip? If you trade me, I'm no longer on your books. That'll be somebody else's responsibility to pay me. Yes, you gave me the extension, but you wouldn't have to pay a dime of it because the 4-year kicks in this year. So you wouldn't have to worry. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, but you've backed the Sixers into such a corner. They are classically damned if you do or damned if you don't. Because if you say, okay, we'll take the best offer on the table, well, that's damned if you do, because it's not going to be very good, to your point. And if you don't, you're going to have a very unhappy camper. Well, the next question is, how long will that camper hold out? What if the Sixers, for the first time in a long time in the NBA, just say, sorry, we got you for the next 4 years. If you want to stay at home, you can just stay at home. How long would that last? Now we're into the psyche of Ben Simmons. How long would he sit? Would he sit out a year and lose $33 million?
No, I don't believe he'll sit out, nor should he sit out. But he'll come to camp and he'll be like James Harden. It became abundantly clear James Harden was not happy in Houston. And after a while, they said, yeah, you're going to come. We're going to make you play.
Well, not only did he came to camp after breaking all the COVID rules in Las Vegas and Atlanta, remember? And right away, he's completely out of bounds on the COVID protocol. So he was just daring that. And he came to camp, dare I say, a little heavy? And so he said, look, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to show you I do not want to be here. And eventually, the ownership said, you know what? We just can't have this guy around here because he doesn't want to be here, and it's starting to rub off. You remember what Boogie said about the situation, Skip Bayless? And a lot of other guys were complaining, so they ended up moving him out. It shouldn't have to get to this. You've made your point. You believe Joel Embiid is the guy that can lead you where you want to go. You would love to have Ben, but I believe in the back of their minds, Skip, Ben hasn't improved enough from where he was as a rookie. You keep giving me, yes, he was Rookie of the Year, but has he 3 straight All-Star teams? Really? 2 straight defense, first team All-Defense? Really?
Since they've been keeping these stats, Ben Simmons set an NBA record for the worst free throw percentage shooting in the playoffs, 34%. Now, there have been some bad free throw shooters, from Ben Wallace to Chris Haley to Shaq to Will Chamberlain. He's worse than all of them. He's a point guard.
Okay, got the demons in his head, fixable on the couch. You got to put him on the couch.
Well, maybe the demons won't be in Sacramento. Maybe the demons won't be in Portland, and he'll be able to rid those demons.
I don't know. Would Rich Paul and Ben sign off on Sacramento? I'm not sure they would.
I mean, from what I've heard, is that any place other than Philly. So I don't know what other places they are in the NBA, but anywhere other than Philly.
Well, there are only 2 ways out, to me, that would be the deal that both will accept, and it would involve Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal, and that's it. I don't see any other way out of this mess that they're locked in, this game of chicken that they're locked in, except those 2 places, because those are 2 deal for deals where you would get back a semblance of what you're giving.
Skip, it's a situation where you know you should get rid of something. You know, the longer you hold on to it,
I don't know that they know they want to get rid of it.
Skip,
Does Daryl Morey think that?
Skip, there's been too much rumblings about possibly trading Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons has tired of hearing his name thrown up in trades.
Yep.
So now he's like, okay, since this has been going around over the last year, I'm going to put some people's feet to the fire.
Okay, but Daryl Morey didn't blast Ben Simmons after the loss.
No. Well, hey.
So he's the guy pulling the trigger, right? He's the guy in charge.
Skip, if I would recommend, I would say if I could speak to Ben Simmons, which I can't, I would say, Ben, go to camp. Be professional. Professional doesn't mean you're just an NBA player. Professional is how you go about your business.
Okay.
Go about your business with the anticipation that they're going to do right by you because you're going to do right by them by showing up to camp and being professional. But I want to make it abundantly clear. I'm coming in here, Doc. I'm going to do what you ask me to do, but I want to be traded. Joel Embiid, don't F with me, bro. Daryl Morey, I want out.
Well, Embiid has said recently all the right things, like he's tried to wave the peace flag to him, right?
When Joel Embiid was upset, what did he say? Remember the three people that would tell you the truth?
Yeah.
Angry people, kids, and drunk.
Yeah.
Now, Joel Embiid wasn't drunk. And he's not a kid, although
I don't know. He's got a lot of kids.
Yeah, he has some kid-like behavior. But in that moment, he was just upset because he had lost a 7-game series, and it was on his home court, Game 7.
Correct. I got it. In the end, it's still all about the general manager and the owner. And I can tell you they will cling to one stat. And that stat says that in the 34 games that they have been without Ben Simmons over his tenure in Philadelphia, they're 17-17. Right. And in those 34, if you look at what happened to them defensively, they have averaged more than 5 points allowed a game more without Ben Simmons. Because he is a difference maker on the defensive end. Right. That has nothing to do with free throw shooting. You are dead right about everything you say about free throws. They have to get fixed. And I was slightly troubled that he was in such a free throw funk. He wouldn't even play for his Olympic team in Australia. And I think it had a lot to do with the free throw demons. Like, I don't want to have to go subject myself to this in the Olympics on the international stage again, right?
Skip, you mentioned, when you talk about Ben, you always mention the games in which he's played well. But you look at his best games, when he played well, who wasn't playing at all? Okay. So how do you move forward with that? You mentioned that 42-point game. Joel Embiid was a late scratch. Remember that playoff game against the Brooklyn Nets?
The Jared Dudley Memorial game? When Jared took a shot at him, he said, okay, watch this.
Yes. Who wasn't playing?
Joel was not important.
So
I got you, okay? So you can almost make an argument they've been a little better apart and a little better with Ben instead of Joel. You can make a case. Right. But again, together, they were the 1 seed.
Yes.
That's all the GM has to sit back and think, gee, maybe we should just dig in here and say, no, we're not going to trade you.
But what does it come down to, Skip? When you're dealing with two guys like that and they both believe they're superstars, eventually, Skip, Magic and Kareem would work because Magic was willing, Cap, what do you want? How do I make it?
Called him Cap.
Yes.
Called him captain,
but Skip, when we get two guys and both are trying to I'm the dog, it's me. Eventually, what's going to happen? They got to go their separate ways. And Ben Simmons is like, I believe you've shown favoritism towards Joel Embiid. I believe you've done things to say, this is Joel Embiid's team. It's time for me to go. And even if I don't have my own team, I want to be away from here.
Okay. Bottom line to this, it could come down to this. What if the Sixers do dig in and just say, I'm sorry, if you don't want to play, just go home and we're not going to pay you. And the NBA is going to suspend you at some point.
No, I'm going to get paid.
Well, let's do the hypothetical.
Okay.
Think about this. How long would Ben Simmons sit? Would he sit for the whole year and lose the 33?
No.
Here's my point. He's different. His mindset is different than a lot of players, where I don't know that he needs basketball to be happy. Like, if we go back to Magic and Bird, they just live to hoop, you know, I'm going to play. So if you tell them you got to sit out a whole year, they're going to say, I'm sorry, I can't do that, right?
No.
They're not made that way. But he strikes me as the kind of young man who's very stubbornly proud, very high principled. That's why he's standing by his principles on this. Like, they wronged me, so I got to go.
Okay.
But the point is, he might stand on his principles so strongly, he might be the kind who would sit a whole year and then force the trade next summer.
I don't believe he has great representation with Rich Paul, and I believe Rich Paul will advise against sitting out, leaving $33 million on the table. I just believe, Skip.
Yeah, it wouldn't help Richie.
Right, but my thing is, Skip, is that I'm going to go to camp, and I'm going to be professional, but I've made it abundantly clear. And when reporters ask me, I've made it clear to them